Hey guys, what's up? It's Greg Srisavasdi with the CinemAddicts podcast. This is CinemAddicts episode 347. The movies that are being covered this week beginning Friday, June 5th, 2026, are Carolina and Seven Snipers. I'll be reviewing Seven Snipers. Bruce and Eric, they did a review of Carolina over the weekend, plus the review includes spoilers. All that said though, 17 minutes of that review, actually 17 minutes of that maybe 50-ish, 45, 50-ish minute coverage is movie reviews. The movie review of Carolina. There is a spoiler discussion, which I will make sure I will put on the show notes, the exact timestamp when you need to jump off if you do not want to hear Carolina spoilers from Bruce, Purkey, and Eric Holmes. That will be coming up shortly. I have a movie called Seven Snipers on digital, which I will review shortly as well. But a couple of cinematic stuff I want to talk about before we get to the... It's a smaller show, but it's good. It's going to be value added this installment. But just lately, I've been thinking about stuff that we did this podcast called Find Your Film. I'm sure a lot of you who listen to CinemAddicts remember me, Bruce, and Eric doing a podcast called the Find Your Film podcast. And what that was is all three of us would pick certain directors and spotlight them. For example, we spotlighted Sidney Lumet. I'm going from memory here. Also Samuel Fuller, just a lot of different filmmakers over the several years. And I'm trying to think of other ones, but they escape me. And I think I forgot what his name was, Ronald Neame. I think we did that. Ronald Neame, but we did just a lot of directors. We would spotlight them, and that was a big part of Find Your Film, was to spotlight directors. And Eric was mentioning when we did Patreon that he missed a little bit of that coverage, and I missed that as well. I miss all three of us talking about directors we love or learning about directors. And yeah, it was, there's a filmmaker, Elise Guy Blaché, and that was a filmmaker that we had no idea who she was and what she meant to cinema, and that was one of our earliest episodes of Find Your Film. Now, we're resurrecting that aesthetic on our Find Your Film podcast. Each month, we will be choosing a director to spotlight. It was Bruce Purkey's turn for this return on Find Your Film, and he chose Frank Oz. Frank Oz is the director behind such films as What About Bob, Little Shop of Horrors. Again, I'm going through my little noggin here. The Score. What else? And then I think there's a movie called Death at a Funeral. And the goal is, for example, June, we're going to be covering Frank Oz. We'll be studying Frank Oz, and hopefully we'll be watching as many Frank Oz movies as possible on our respective time and our respective schedule. At the end of June, we will hopefully get together for an episode devoted solely to Frank Oz, a Find Your Film episode that we'll put on that audio feed. Who knows? Maybe I'll even put it here on the CinemAddicts audio feed as well to make it easier for you guys to listen to. And what you guys will get is hopefully more information on what makes Frank Oz a very special filmmaker. You'll get a whole bunch of reviews. Also, I've been planning to do this for so many months, and maybe even over a year, is I did 2 episodes for our Patreon members called the Junketeer, and it was an audio podcast detailing my life from way back when I started in entertainment journalism, and then when I went on to radio journalism. All of the stuff was the reason why that mini podcast was called the Junketeer. Was I've been covering press junkets since 1991. I was going to create a podcast where I would just do memories, faded memories from that time, but then I don't have a lot of the audio library material that I should have kept, or I should have made copies of. I still have some, and I don't know how I'm going to get that back. So a lot of this is very Proustian and just very nostalgic and wistful. And I don't know if that would have been enough to have a mini podcast just talking about my memories of certain celebrities or filmmakers or movies or press junkets, all that stuff. But what I thought of doing is still revisit, like just like I'm revisiting Find Your Film with the guys, I'm gonna revisit the Junketeer, which I left over a year ago. And while I'll have the memories from yesteryear from these previous junkets, I will also do up to date stuff of what I'm doing now on the junket scene. I'll also give some hopefully insightful pointers on if you're interested in starting a podcast or entertainment website, that the failures I had along the way, or maybe some of the insights and success I possibly had along the way too. All that stuff will be available for our Patreon members. Also, I'm thinking of doing a lot of this stuff. The Junketeer will actually be in scope, in theory, will be a maybe 2 to 3 episode type of mini podcast that I'll do and I'll have on the CinemAddicts podcast audio feed. So I most likely will also use that as not just a Patreon add-on, not just as a Patreon add-on, excuse me, but also as an add-on for Apple Podcast subscription members. So if you listen to audio, simply audio, then you can become an Apple Podcast subscription member as well. You'll get my junket stuff called the Junketeer, and hopefully a lot of that stuff will be value added. And then also the Junketeer will also feature my movie reviews of the movies I see during the week. And these are movie reviews that I will post immediately after watching the movie, which means I'll give a rating which can be changeable. It's mutable. It'll be just a first reaction that will be exclusive to our Patreon community and people who listen to or subscribe to our Apple Podcast subscriptions. So that is what I'm going to tinker about with the Junketeer. I'm going to start it up probably next week. And again, that's going to be exclusively for Patreon and Apple Podcast subscription members. Hopefully you'll find that interesting. And for Frank Oz, what I'll be doing is while I'm watching these movies, I'll be reviewing the movies and I'll be posting them on the Junketeer podcast audio feed as well. For people who are already our Patreon members, they will look different on your feed. They will be separate CinemAddicts episodes on your respective audio feed. Hopefully that will be an added perk. And if not, you don't have to listen to it. A lot of it's going to be me blabbing on about a lot of things, my past as a press junket person, along with movie reviews and just insights on owning a website and podcasting and all that stuff. If any of that sounds interesting to you, please support because all that money goes to me, Bruce, and Eric, and even a little bit of Anderson Cowan, who is a co-founder of CinemAddicts as well. It's a great way to support us here over at CinemAddicts for our cheeseburger money. Hopefully we can put some truffles on our cheeseburgers with all this other stuff that you guys help support us. Anyways, that's it for the plug. Let me get to Caroline in a few moments, but I just want to say one more thing. I did see a movie this week. That movie is called Seven Snipers. Seven Snipers. It's on digital Friday, June 5th, 2026. It's directed by Sandra Siberas. The writer is Andrew O'Keefe, and the cast is Radha Mitchell, Ioan Griffith, Annabelle Wolfe, Lee Tiger Haley, Charles Codier, Pakaro Mzembe, Damien Ryan, Bianca Wallace, with Ryan Quanten and Tim Roth. Here's the most important thing. Ryan Quanten, you might know him from True Blood and a bunch of other movies, but I remembered him personally from True Blood. He was so great in that. Tim Roth, you remember him from Reservoir Dogs and a slew of other things. All right, so we're going to get to that in a second about those two actors. But here is the official synopsis for Seven Snipers. A retired elite sniper, played by Radha Mitchell, and her daughter, Annabelle Wolfe, live a quiet life in the remote Australian countryside. That peace is shattered when a ruthless warlord, played by Tim Roth, from her past returns for retribution. Calling in her old crew, she prepares to defend her family in director Sandra Siberas' taut action thriller, Seven Snipers. The runtime's 88 minutes. The rating is R. It's considered an action thriller. Here's the most important part of this synopsis. The word taut, T-A-U-T. It is very tight, no wasted moments in this movie. And I really liked it. It's a lean and mean and uncompromising action thriller. And if you're a fan of Radha Mitchell, you've seen her in a whole bunch of movies. Let me look up Radha Mitchell over on IMDb right now, and I'll give you a couple of movies. Maybe I think she was in a movie. I love Woody Allen. What can I say? I loved Woody Allen as a kid, and then as I grew up, when a lot of stuff happened, all these allegations. For some reason, I've had a mental block. I haven't really gone back to rewatch and devour a lot of stuff, but for a long, long time, I was a huge Woody Allen fan, and she starred in a movie that is so underrated. I think from Woody Allen, and she was the lead in it. I think it was Melinda and Melinda. I could be absolutely wrong right now. Let me look right now, but she was in a movie called Melinda. Melinda. I swear to you know what that she was in that movie, and maybe my memory is so horrible. Well, in 2004, Radha Mitchell was in Men on Fire, and there is no Melinda. Melinda. She was in Pitch Black. She was one of the leads in Pitch Black. I still haven't seen Pitch Black. She did get her big start in Neighbors, the TV series Neighbors. She was in 62 episodes from 94 to 97. But I remember her personally just as a cinephile because she had a very standout performance in High Art. And I remember my favorite director, Brian De Palma, loved that movie. 1998 was released, and that was when she started becoming more not knowledgeable, more recognizable. That was, I think, if I recall, the movie that broke her out, High Art in 1998. And then 2 years later, she was in that commercial film. Well, commercial to an extent, but it was then started a young, Vin Diesel, and he ended up turning Pitch Black into a franchise. But Pitch Black, 2 years later in 2000, let's see what else. She was in Phone Booth in 2002. Wasn't she in a movie called Melinda? Oh, yes. I'll get to that in a second. Man on Fire in 2004 by one of my favorite directors, Tony Scott. Rest in peace, Tony Scott. Also, in 2004, she was in the Woody Allen movie, which nobody talks about, Melinda and Melinda. She was so good in that movie. But I think Eric Holmes and Bruce Purkey know her from Silent Hill, and over the years, she's been in a whole bunch of different movies. The Crazies. I think I interviewed her several years ago for a film called, I forgot what it was. Yeah, was it called The Devil's Workshop? But yeah, I interviewed her. Oh, Dreamcatcher back in 2020. My goodness, 6 years ago, I interviewed her for that. But she is a very, very great actress. Love her stuff. If you are a fan of Radha Mitchell, you're gonna really enjoy her work in this film because she is a no nonsense elite sniper who is she's living with her daughter, and one day out of nowhere, yeah, that Tim Roth's character, who is her former mentor, is out for a revenge mission. So he might take not only the sniper out, but he might kill her daughter being played by Annabelle Wolfe, and a whole bunch of other fellow snipers, fellow soldiers come to in the aid of this sniper because this guy, this ruthless warlord, he is out of everyone the best sniper. So as the movie continues, it follows a rather not well, it's a predictable enough path because it's almost like that Agatha Christie construct, and then there were none. One by one, each person is eliminated until eventually, possibly, there will be a showdown between Tim Roth and Radha Mitchell. It is very standard, which is not a bad thing because you're expecting that mechanic all the way through. Ryan Quanten, again from True Blood, from True Blood, has a very short role. He is one of the first people who shows up to the scene, and then he has a confrontation with Radha Mitchell's character. I see here on IMDb they don't mention her as Voodoo Child, but Radha Mitchell's her moniker is Voodoo Child in Seven Snipers. And yes, Tim Roth is known as the Dragon. All right, Ewan Griffith, you might know him formerly as Mr. Fantastic in that Fantastic Four film from years ago, and he's had a very successful career as well as a leading man. He plays Milk, one of the snipers who tries to help Voodoo Child and her daughter. It's a good movie. It's a solid film, a lot of good action. People are killed, but these are not bloody gory kills. They happen very quick. And yeah, it's worth watching. Is it anything out of the ordinary or excellent or you need to see it immediately? I say yes, if again you are a Radha Mitchell fan. Tim Roth is very good in this movie. It is taut. Don't expect any frills from this movie, like a very immersive, rich backstory or just exposition-laden scenes about the mother and daughter trying to bond. And you've seen that before in different movies, and that would have made Seven Snipers probably more of a 115 to 120 minute type of movie. But no, this instead deals with a guy named the Dragon. He's going to try to take out this woman that he has a revenge mission against, and helping her out is a bunch of other snipers who might ultimately be window dressing because there might be an ultimate showdown between Radha Mitchell and Tim Roth, their respective characters at the end. That's what you're going to get with Seven Snipers. I will say this, though. The showdown dynamic between those characters, between Voodoo Child and the Dragon, is really well done. Okay, I'm not going to give too much away, but there is a red bandana situation that deals with the showdown, and it's a very important object from Voodoo Child's past. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about the ending. Seven Snipers, again, you know what you're going to get. It's a meat and potatoes action thriller. It's elevated by just Radha Mitchell and Tim Roth being in this. Jon Griffith is good as well. He has a small role, but compared to all the other snipers, he gets the meatiest role out of all the other snipers, and it was good to see him again. But ultimately, this is a movie for Radha Mitchell fans and if you want 88 minutes of just a solid action thriller. I'm giving Seven Snipers 3.5 out of 5 stars. Was not disappointed whatsoever. I don't think you will be if you like any of these actors involved. I'm looking at the trailer right now. The action sequence and the opening and then the closing, the ultimate showdown is really good. And then the middle stuff, there is some action as well. It's not a slog. I will say this, one of the big strengths of Seven Snipers is it doesn't wallow in tons of talk and exposition. It just gets right to the action. So if that's what you're looking for, go check out Seven Snipers. Again, on digital, Friday, June 5th, 2026. All right, that is it of me blabbing this week on CinemAddicts. Again, if you're a Patreon member, Apple Podcast subscription member, please, join me on this journey with the Junketeer. I'm going to start recording probably this weekend. And hopefully it's something that you guys will enjoy. All right. Thanks again so much for supporting us on CinemAddicts. Here is Bruce Purkey and Eric Holmes. Eric Holmes is joining Bruce Purkey up in the Cinematic. They're talking about Carolina. Thanks, guys.
I'm here at the wee hours of the morning with Bruce in my coffee, but it's a very special occasion. Not just because I'm talking with Bruce, which we don't get to talk often, but Bruce, what are we here for? What are we talking about?
We are here for the brand new movie by Mr. Adam, and I never know how to say his name. So Adam Reamer? We don't. Do we know?
I do not know.
The director of. Maybe. Let us know. Hit us up, Adam. Let us know how to say your name. We will talk to you just so we can talk about how to say your name. He is the director.
That's not the only reason, but that's
what. Oh, yeah, true. Good point. He is the director. I believe he's the writer, too, of Dinner in America, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And he also made Snack Shack, and he has a brand new movie dropping very soon. In fact, it was embargoed until Monday, the 1st, I believe, of June, called Carolina, Caroline, starring Adam Gallner, who, of course, was in Dinner in America and a bunch of other great movies. We love Adam Gallner, and Samara Weaving, who I would say all the people listening to us know who.
Kyle Gallner.
Yeah, I said Kyle Gallner, didn't I?
You said Adam Gallner, I think.
Did I? Oh my gosh. Kyle Raymer and Adam Gallner. Okay, Kyle Gallner. Let's start this again. Starring Kyle Gallner, who we know from Dinner in America, as well as a bunch of other awesome movies. And we've also got Samara Weaving, who I would say probably everybody who listens to this probably knows Samara Weaving. If you don't, Ready or Not? Oh my gosh, she's been in so many things. Just, The Babysitter? Wasn't she The Babysitter 1 and 2, maybe?
Actually, I've not seen either one of those.
Samara Weaving's been in a ton of stuff. And I think she's always been seen as a genre, not a scream queen exactly, but a genre darling. And I think this could be one of her breakout roles. But we'll see. We'll see what we
Bill and
both
Ted
think
Face
it is.
the Music. I saw that one.
There you go. Yeah, she's been in a ton of things. I feel like you see her in a lot. I bet you she's been haunted by this too. You see her in a lot of movies where they would have had Margot Robbie and they got Samara Weaving instead. And I would not say that as a knock, because after seeing this movie and some other movies she's been in, I might choose Samara Weaving over Margot Robbie, but that's just my hot take. I don't know what you think.
Babylon. She was in Babylon as well.
Yeah, she's good. All right, let's get on to what this movie is. Why don't you give it a start? What is Carolina, Caroline?
Well, Carolina, Caroline is first. We'll save that for later. Caroline is not a good title. That makes what I hate about the title Carolina, Caroline is that when you hear that, like, what's the kind of movie that gets in your head when you hear that title? Not this one, like at all. So Samara Weaving is Caroline. She does like a short change scam. Buy something for $5, buy something small for $5, and starts getting the change back. Ooh, actually, can I give you the $1 back? And I get that 10 back. Oh yeah, no problem. And then it works like that. She does that a couple times, and then at one point, Kyle Gallner's character comes in, and she's in a convenience store about to do the same thing. Kyle Gallner does that short change scam. Game recognized game, so she follows him outside. It's like, hey, I saw what you did back there. You stole money from that place. And it's, oh, really? Cool. Well, and then if I remember correctly, he knows her name somehow. I think he probably, if I caught this correctly, he knows her name because he's seen pictures of her in the band from this store. No,
Not right. So if I remember correctly, okay, both of us are going to be remembering correctly. She worked at the store, and there was a list of like chores to do, like it was like posted like behind the counter, so like the owner would say like, bathrooms blah 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 on Wednesday, and it would say Caroline,
because so I remember seeing her picture like in the background a couple times of like it looked like one of those do not let this person in the store sort of things. So I thought maybe he did something like that, but yeah, you're probably right on this. Anyway, regardless, Kyle Gallner's character knows who Caroline is. And he just gives her the $10 he lifted from the store and just takes off. Then the two meet up again later, and they start. It's a family show. They start banging like rabbits.
Yeah,
and they start doing little cons together. At one point, Caroline goes and she wants to. Her and Kyle go, and I believe she wants to go find her mom. I don't know that that's what they set out to do, but that's where they're going ultimately. And on the way, they start doing a bunch of other kind of little con jobs here and there. And they kind of progressively ramp up until they get to straight up armed bank robbery.
Yep.
Is that about?
Yeah, that gives you the basic kind of gist of the story. I think the only thing I would throw in there is that this is kind of a long line of kind of traditional stories of this type, where a small town girl stuck in a boring small town. It could be at the start of a country song, which there's a lot of country songs in this movie, by the way, some great country songs, where you have this girl stuck in the middle of nowhere, and here comes this charismatic dude with a muscle car that he may or may not own. And
I mean, he owns it now.
Yeah, exactly. And
I would say the main difference with this and other Bonnie and Clyde kind of stories is that she's not an innocent pluck from obscurity from this bad guy. Her and both are on even keel when starting out, and they build their cons and growing that together.
Agree. I think that's what kind of struck me right out of the gate is that she sees him, but what kind of comes to him, when she comes to him, it's, wow, she's super bright, she's super intelligent, she's super observant of what I'm doing, and we are like two kindred spirits. I've just been doing it longer than she has, and I'm more willing to just go out and hit the world than she is. And she just sees him as, wow, he's like my kind of guy, person. He's my kind of person, and I can get out of this town with him, and we can do this. But yeah, she does have this kind of ongoing kind of a, I guess the impetus to go on the road, like you said, is just generally to head towards Carolina because that's where her runaway mom lives. I think she hasn't seen her mom since she was like, what, 5 or something, they said. She was really little.
I was under the impression she hadn't seen her at all, but
You might be right about that. I'm really frustrated. I bet you're in the same boat. I really want to watch this movie again. Which, first of all,
Yeah.
I love this movie, so I want to watch it again. I just haven't had time to. But I feel like this is a movie that's going to definitely benefit from another watch because there's little details like that I want to see because I didn't quite get. And when I see it again, I think those are going to just make it even better. But would we both agree, out of the gate, like from pretty much from the moment they meet, you talk about chemistry on screen between co-stars and stuff. And a lot of times that's overrated or underrated. It doesn't matter if it's a good script, whatever it might be. But here, there is just, these two play off each other just like amazingly. I think that you couldn't cast it any better as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, they're like chips and dip for sure.
Yes, chips and dip. Who's the dip?
Hell, of course.
Of course.
But yeah, this is like a good example of one of those kind of movies or stories like you've seen a million times, and this is like a really good version of it. And it does things like a little different that kind of give it that little special sauce to it. I think I was kind of digging this movie almost from the jump, but what really made me start leaning forward was that con they pulled on the train
Yes.
with the wallet. Maybe we talk about more in spoilers, but definitely watch the movie because once that happened, I'm like, oh, okay, this is the movie we're watching, and I'm kind of digging it.
Exactly. I think that it's, like you said before that, it's a really good Bonnie and Clyde-esque sort of story. Same sort of thing where you have two impossibly good-looking people in the real world,
Yeah.
supposedly, but also they're on the run and they're causing havoc and creating crimes. But like you said, there's this whole House of Games-esque sort of upping the ante of scams, which is in con artist things, which is really interesting.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what Bonnie and Clyde, you just think run and gun. Like the scam with the wallet was like real clever. The short change, I think, is a thing that happens, but that's a clever conceit starting off with. And even kind of when they started doing the bank heist, the way they kind of had that down was almost too perfect. And as we'll talk about later, it was too perfect. But yeah, this, I'm not sure what else to say. I should say that Tom Dean wrote this. Adam Remier, I believe he wrote and directed all his other previous movies. This one he did not, but it still has the same kind of, I don't know, it doesn't have the same energy as Dinner in America. This and Dinner in America, two wildly different movies, but it still feels like the same person kind of put it together,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense.
There's kind of that common DNA of outsider-ish people that find togetherness and eventually at least love of some sort and camaraderie in the midst of kind of a world that's out to get them to some degree. There's some that kind of thing going on, but they're very different as far as the way that plays out. One's way more punk rock and kind of chaotic, and this one's way more, like you said, taking a great trope of a sort of setup and really just doing it very well, and then giving it, like you said, that extra special sauce.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the name here.
Yes.
Because I think it has the same problem as Dinner in America. You mentioned, hey, did you watch Dinner in America? No, I didn't, and I never will. That sounds dry as hell and not a movie I want to watch. No, Dinner in America is really good. It's like I have this punk rock thing, and you describe Dinner in America, and then Caroline's kind of a similar thing. It's like the name alone is going to turn the people that would love this the most. The name's going to turn them off almost immediately.
Or just not attract their eye. Like it just won't catch your
potato.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah, you're right. I don't think it would make me not want to watch it, but it would make me not even notice it. What? Oh, there it is. And what is that thing?
But like same deal with Dinner in America. The people that would love Dinner in America the most, they hear the title Dinner in America. They're not jumping right to that. It sounds like, oh, this is another indie porn, probably long, boring shots of someone staring at it. No, it's not that at all. It's real high energy, real punk rock. And yeah, Caroline. In spite of the title, it sounds like maybe like a European 1700s European period piece or something. Hello,
That's funny.
Caroline.
I thought it was sounded to me. You know what it sounded like to me? It sounded to me like one of those movies about a plucky young girl that kind of, just learns how to be and how to live as an orphan in the South somewhere. Carolina, Caroline. What's she doing down there? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I suppose so. Maybe like Anna Karenina, but in Georgia.
In Georgia. Anna Karenina. Okay.
But,
Sorry, my accent is terrible.
Yeah, my name much better, y'all. But in spite of that, Adam Ramier managed to make another banger, and a lot of credit to Tom Dean. They wrote a banger. Samara Wavy and Kyle Gallner and Kira Sedgwick starred in a banger. So this thing's, I don't know, where are you at on this?
I'm 4.5 to 5 stars. I think I'm 5 stars because the more I think about it, the more I love it, and I think it'll just get better when I watch it again. I'm 5 stars in this movie, and one thing I don't think we're really representing is this is unlike the other movie. This is potentially a huge crowd pleaser.
Yeah,
I think you could recommend this to a lot of people. You recommend Dinner in America to certain people, mom and pop kind of Americana people. They're going to kind of be like, yeah, I don't know.
Kids, so why do I care?
Yeah, I don't like that. They're
Carolina Karenina, quit watching that dinner.
They're trouble. But this movie, you can give it to a lot of people, and except there's the crime part of it, but it's all done in a way that I think a lot of people could love this movie and probably will when they discover it. So I'm going to go 5 stars myself. That's what I'm going to do.
I think I was 5 stars when I was first watching it, and then it just won't get out of my head. It just keeps burrowing further and further. Because I'm watching going, this is pretty good, but it's no Dinner in America. And then the further I get away from it going, this is just as good as Dinner in America. This might be better than Dinner in America. It's kind of having that sort of effect on me. And a lot of it has to do with kind of where these characters end up. And we'll talk about that here in a second when we do spoilers. Don't want to do it here. But yeah, the longer this movie sits with me, the more I love it. And that title be damned. I think 10 years from now, once this is one of my favorite movies ever, that I won't even think about the title. But as far as release goes, it would be better if they had a snappier title so more people could watch it so they could keep making more movies. That would be awesome.
Hopefully they'll believe in it and give it at least some marketing, because you could market it enough, I think, to get people to go watch it even with the title, because I think you got the people in there, you got the faces, and I think you could easily promote this in a way that people want to see it. I want to say the other test for this movie to me.
The reason I'm so hung up on the title, and this is stupid, but the only reason I'm so hung up on it is that usually with movies like this, people have to find it. And how do they find it? They scroll, they see the title, oh, sounds interesting, and they click on it. Now, if this is getting a release in New York and LA for 2 days, and then it'll be on streaming, no one's going to find this. If this is something that they might do a wide release on, it doesn't seem that, but if they do that, and the trailer plays in front of like all the Marvel movies or whatever, then yeah, the title won't matter because people watch the trailer and go, oh, that looks cool, I want to watch that. I hope it's the latter one, but well, time will tell.
Yeah, I hope so too. I would say that it sounds like you're 6.9 on this, 6.9 stars, or are you 5? 5 with room to grow?
I'm gonna go 5, but I think by the end of the year it'll probably be that. This is one of my favorites of the year.
Same. One of my favorites of the year too. We have Santa Zeta still sitting out there, so we'll see. Yeah. But
also, I think a movie that hasn't came out yet, so
it's not even slated to come out yet. I've been keeping an eye on it and waiting for that, because I think when it comes out again, we need to re-review it or something, because it needs to get some buzz. But I was gonna say, one of the things that really is the tale of how much I like a movie, especially like this. I think about it, I'm just like, I just want to hang out. I know how the whole story goes. I know how it ends. I don't care. I want to just hang out with these characters doing what they're doing again. And I think that's really when you know that you love a movie, because it doesn't matter that for movies where the people say, why do you like to watch that movie over and over again? It's a real downer. And I don't care. It's the world. It's the people. It's the characters I'm with. I love them so much. I want to be there again. And I think this is one of those kind of movies. I really love it a lot.
Yeah. 2 5 stars, 2 6.9. However you want to slice it, this movie's awesome. Go watch it and tell people about it.
Yes.
And then once you watch it, tell more people about it. And if you've watched this and you've not seen Dinner in America, go back and watch that. And then watch them back to back, double feature it, do whatever you got to do. But yeah, this is well worth your time. And My goodness, wouldn't that be awesome if people thought of this in Santa Zeta during award season? They won't, but it'd be awesome if they did.
There are two movies right there with, at minimum, that should get some kind of writing nominations and acting nominations. No doubt, both. But yeah, no, they won't. They're just not what people are looking for. But that's crazy. Should we get into spoilers? Do some spoilers?
Let's clip this off right now, and then we'll do spoilers, but in a separate video. But yeah, Caroline, awesome movie, and you've seen it by now, right? You left and came back to us after you've seen it. Cool.
You're like, I agree with them. That was really good. I'm gonna go see it again. That's what they're saying.
All right, go see it again. Pause this and go see it again. All right, you're back. How was it? It was pretty good. All right, that was pretty good. All right, this is just getting stupid. Let's get with spoilers.
All right,
1 second. Bruce, listeners, YouTube watchers, we've all seen Caroline. So let's spoil the out of it.
I feel like a music sting should come in right there. Cinematic spoilers.
So I was not expecting Kyle Gallner to be a robot the whole time. That was crazy.
And the fact that she was a werewolf, that really threw me for a loop.
Anywho, I guess what spoilers should we talk about? I guess start off with the mom. She meets the mom, Kira Sedgwick, who I thought was Melissa Leo at first. But so I thought, my initial thought was that she left as soon as she was born. I mean, you may be right that she left when she was 5, but I thought that she left when she was born because she didn't recognize right away what was going on. And I think she only knew because she started putting pieces together. Oh, you're about the right age.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And you've been in Texas. She kept asking all the questions about where you've been and all that stuff.
Yeah. And then I also got the sense from her that I never wanted to be a mom. The reason I left is because once you were out,
I was out of there.
Dad wanted you. Great. That's not me. That's not what I'm doing.
You could be right about that. I need to rewatch it to really remember. But either way, it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, basically, she's been gone her whole life, essentially.
Yeah, functionally the same kind of interaction, for sure. But that was the turning point because with that, her head's not in the right place. And what would it take to get out of the country? 200, 300,000 maybe? Okay, let's rob more banks. Let's get bigger scores. When she's not in the headspace to be doing that at all.
Mm-mm. So we should talk about that first. So first of all, one of the basic goals was, and it was very loosey-goosey because you hardly even remember she's going to see her mom for the first half of the movie, maybe even 3/4 of the movie. And then they keep getting closer to Carolina, and you're like, it would show you what state they're in. And it kind of reminds you, oh, okay, that's right, we're heading towards Carolina. And then she finally gets there. And I don't know about you, but I really love just even how it goes down because meeting somebody who basically, gave you up for adoption, abandoned you, whatever the case may be, that's always a touchy, iffy, it can easily go bad. And I don't think...
And it could go right, too. It's just one of those situations where you're literally, I'm walking into it, I have no idea how this is going to turn out.
Yes. And I don't think Carolina's deluded. I think she wants to find something there. She hopes that she might see... I don't know. I don't think she thinks that she's going to get there and mom's going to become her mom now. It doesn't seem like she has that attitude, but I feel like she's looking for something there that she might get, some kind of closure. And I guess she gets it in a weird way, but I love just something as simple as...
She had no choice. Kira Sedgwick slammed that door for her.
Slammed that saloon door on the way out. But I was going to say, I love even how they approach the moment because it's like they just pull up to this just very normal looking... Not even a suburban neighborhood. This is downtown kind of older ramshackle houses, and she bangs on the door. There's no one there.
If you've seen Killing of Two Lovers, it's in that area.
Exactly. It's in the next neighborhood over. Yeah. And on her way out, she can't find her mom there. Mom's like out for the day or whatever. She doesn't know. And some kind of a scraggly neighbor pulls up and she's, and she says her mom's name, and the person's, oh, well, you try the bar, and the bar is literally the next building over. So she goes to the bar, and of course that's where she finds her. And I thought that I don't know your reaction, but Kira Sedgwick is hamming it up pretty boldly in this movie. She's playing it like she's shooting for the fences.
Yeah, but
in the best way.
But the thing is, like, she's certainly like hamming it up. I've seen those people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big character, but those characters exist, and I've met them. I don't
The big
hang out with
character that,
them for very good reason, but
yeah,
I've seen that person.
the big character that everyone in the bar knows and holds court, but also might fight you at the end of the night.
Yeah. But yeah, like you have certain movies where like you have big people like hamming it up, overacting, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, that's a real fun character. Never met that person in my life. That character exists in this movie, but that character doesn't exist in real life. Kira Sedgwick's character, I met them.
And it's like the person who hams it up in their actual life. Like
Yeah.
the person you are hanging around with, and they actually do that. So you're like,
yeah. So I guess in what, it's not Kira Sedgwick hamming it up. It's Kira Sedgwick's character hamming it up for the
truth.
people. I never thought of that, but I think you're right.
It's fantastic. And just the way that scene plays out, where it's like, what is it? Carolina rolls up and she's kind of like, or Caroline, I keep wanting to say it. See title, see what you done to me. Caroline rolls up to the bar and kind of buys her mom a drink, knowing it's her mom, not knowing that it's her daughter. And she just starts kind of slowly asking her questions. And the way that just unfolds, the way that the mom eventually like dawns on her, like first she's, what are you, FBI? At first she says, you're the FBI or the cops or what? Why are you asking me so many damn questions? And when she figures it out, you would think she'd be like, oh my gosh, get tearful and be like, I had to give you up because I was poor and I couldn't make it. And I wish I would have made different decisions, but it was where I was at that time. That kind of stock version.
She's being confronted with one of her mistakes and she didn't like it. So she's got to, oh, I always wanted it this way. Or who knows, maybe she did. Hard to get into someone like that's head, but I think a lot of it is kind of like you say, like kind of showboating. Plus, they're also on her turf.
Yep.
My friends are within earshot, so I can't look like a piece of crap in front of them. So I gotta spin this to benefit me somehow. Yeah.
And it's cruel. She just goes.
Yeah.
Poor Caroline just gets it. I mean, I can't to paraphrase, but she's saying stuff to Caroline. Oh, are you gonna cry now? No, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Basically, is what she said.
Thanks
no, and
for the drink.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the drink. Gonna get me another one or whatever. Well, see you later, Caroline. It's just, oh my God. And poor Caroline is just crushed.
There was a real, I don't know how subtle it was, but well, first of all, with Kira Sedgwick, you could almost tell without her saying anything when she found out. But you can see it in her eyes. I know like you see the light bulb go off. I know what this is. I know who this is.
Yep.
And let's keep quiet for just a few seconds longer, get a few more information, and then she says something else. Yep, I knew it. But then when Caroline comes out, Kyle Gallner is sitting there, and she's like crying, and no, let's just go. His first reaction, he just gets this look like, I'm going to go in there and kill her real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, basically, that's what you see. He's ready to kill. She's like, no, just drive. Just go. And that's it. They're out.
I just love little moments like that where it's no dialogue. It's just, you can tell just by the look on their face or what they're doing. It's like, I know exactly what they're going. And she knew exactly what he was doing too. It was like, no, don't get in the car. Let's go.
Yep, absolutely.
But no, you don't want me to beat the crap out? Okay. All right.
So other things to spoil in this movie. I don't know about you, but I feel like I think the biggest thing in this movie to me, other than that, is just kind of the path of Caroline. What happens to her as a character as it goes? Like how it goes from, it's mostly, I think, a fun, exciting adventure to her for a while. But then it starts becoming a little bit it's like life in general, right? It's a fun, crazy adventure for a while. And then it starts to become real and it starts to become a little more dire. And I don't know what you think, but I think that probably started for her. She did the one bank robbery where she'd always go in and she had her black wig on and she'd always point the gun at everybody and just you're giving me stuff now. And she had to get out of there fast. And there's that one time when she points the gun at the little girl. There's like a parent and a little girl like crouching down against the wall, and she points the gun at the little girl, and she's just, you see the wheels once again spinning in Caroline's head, like, I'm pointing a loaded gun at a little girl right now.
Yeah. Well,
that's not exactly what I was here for.
Well, she's also pregnant too.
Yeah.
And that likely has a lot to do with it. Like when Bellboy, I guess, saw something he shouldn't have did, and then Kyle Gallner's got the gun up to him, like reciting his address to him, that whole thing. And then that whole situation is over and she just starts throwing up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird because, like, on one hand, you think that she's thrown up because of the stress of the situation, but also the pregnancy, the morning sickness. What was it this movie that they call it morning sickness, but my wife was sick all the time.
I think it was, yeah. And they
But-
set that up. They set that up at the very beginning because there's that thing in the very beginning of the movie, which I know you hate in most movies. I'm sure it didn't probably bother you here because it didn't matter. But where they have the opening shot that happens very far in the actual story, and then they cut back to the beginning.
It didn't bug me here because when they cut the present day, it was still moving.
Exactly.
What annoys me about that is when you start off with that cold open,
Yes.
and then you cut to present day, and it's them turning off the alarm clock and doing the dishes, and
making
walking
their
the
coffee.
dog, and vacuuming the room, and gotta drive to work. Hey, everyone at work, we're 15 minutes into the movie and nothing's happened yet. Hey, Eric, how's it going? Good to see you too.
Yeah. We start right with the
minutes-
scam, like at the
And then
beginning
20
of the
minutes
actual movie.
later, then we're in the movie. That's what annoys me. This didn't do that. This was pretty quick. And like, even with that, it jumped right into it.
Because the next scene I think was jumped right in was him doing the scam and her watching him and then meeting him and then you were off to the races. But I think that opening flash forward, I guess, does show her. It gives you all the basics that you kind of get. You know you're going to lead there and you're wondering how you're going to get there, which is she's throwing up on the side of the truck, which is foreshadowing not only that maybe she's freaking out or is she pregnant, what's going on, and then she holds up the dude to take his truck, with the gun. So things are going to go sideways one way or the other. Not that you wouldn't be surprised that things are going to go sideways in a movie about going across country and robbing banks and stuff. So,
and also, since we're spoiling this, you guys seen this movie, right? No? Well, go watch it and then come back because we're spoiling the crap out of it.
exactly.
So the bit with the cop, I don't know why, but I love scenes like this where it's like, oh, it's tense. Okay, everything's fine. Okay, we can go our separate ways. Actually, one last thing. Oh, Jesus, come on.
Very
Can I see the registration? Yeah, it's in the glove. Oh, yeah, it's not a big deal. Just
well, because of what they had the screwdriver in there, and it was obvious the minute he looked into the car, he'd see that it had been robbed.
And it didn't matter because as soon as he turned around, Kyle Gallner shot him, and then she starts freaking out. And did she throw up again?
I think she does. I'm trying to remember. I think that they roll away and the guy's just laying there. I remember the way they do it.
So she was throwing up because that's the reason the cop pulled him over to begin.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That was their story. She's pregnant. She's just getting sick. Sorry, officer.
Oh, I think that was after the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And then he threatened the bellhop, and then I think she was like kind of stressed out because of that, and then the pregnancy pulled over on the side, throwing up. Cop shows up, and I'm sure that helped things. But from that point forward, they're straight up effed. Like, they were kind of already there.
Because they were getting identified, and I think also the father had talked to the feds or whatever, and now they knew who she was.
So she didn't talk to when she called her dad after the cop got shot. That's when she called her dad, and the cops answered. Her dad didn't even answer.
That's right.
Her dad didn't answer till the 5th or 6th time she tried calling him, and then he finally did. And she's, I just want to hear your voice click, something to that effect. But then, which brings us to that roadhouse that they're at, because they keep trying to leave the town. They can't because all the main roads are blocked off. So we'll just lay low here for a bit and then try to figure something out. And which gets to the ending that I love in this with a one minor gripe. And I message you this. Mm-hmm. That they're sitting there and they're just being quiet and their song comes on and they get up and dance. I'm like, this is really romantic. I like this. And then as they're dancing, like, I knew this was going to happen. Once you see the red and blue lights like flashing on their face, like, yep, saw this coming. And then Kyle Gallner pushes her away, points a gun up in there, starts shooting. And like that whole scene works if it wasn't in a roadhouse.
Yeah. It's basically the Pee Wee bar. He goes into the Pee Wee bar and he shoots a gun. That ain't going to happen.
No, it could happen, but then
Not
the
very
other
long.
Patrons are going to start shooting back at you. Like, he gets gunned down by the other drinkers there before the cops show up, realistically.
For sure.
That's one of those things, like, you watch it, and you've seen it, right? Of course you have. That's why you're here. But, yeah, when that happened, I was like, No, not in a million years would that play out like that. He would just be dead immediately because Jethro or Cletus or whatever would pull out their piece and gun him down right there.
For sure.
But even having said that scene totally works because it's just like one of those like, because you have the Bonnie and Clyde story normally, and the female character is the innocent that gets taken by the evil con man and then basically brings her down this whirlwind and then corrupts her, and then he ends up getting killed because he went a little too far. This was not that. She was just as guilty as he was from the jump, and then at the end, it turned out that their love for each other was real.
Yeah,
he cared about her. He pushes her away. Get the hell, basically without saying it. He says, "Get the hell out of here. I'm taking the heat for this."
it was the classic go on get scene to some degree.
Yeah.
But
There's only 30 seconds left. Someone's got to hold the bomb before it goes off.
Yeah. So let me, two things I want to ask you. So one thing they set up in the script that made me wonder how it was going to play out, and I wonder how it did or didn't play out, was he had this whole thing where he talks about how you have to read a situation and read a person, like when you're doing your scams, you always know the other person's trying to get something and you have to be the one to be able to read it so you can get the upper hand. Basically, you control the situation by watching all these little movements and tells and all these things, right? And you use that to your advantage. And then he made some other kind of point about how everyone's always trying to scam the other person. I felt like you're setting up like, okay, eventually it's going to come out like how he's been trying to scam her or something. And I feel like the interesting progression for him was that eventually he got to a point where early on you felt like he could have been doing that with her, using her, because like I thought about the fact like it's pretty convenient that he always sends her in to do the bank robberies and he sits in the car. I don't think that's an accident. I think that originally he's probably not thinking he's going to be with her that long, and that she is the face that will get arrested and he could get away. So in a sense, he's using her as a shield. But of course, I think as the movie goes on, part of his progression is that he truly falls in love with her, and that is out the window. So that final moment you're talking about at the bar is the reverse. He's done the exact opposite.
I was wrong, and the people watching this know I was wrong earlier. They didn't pull over so she could throw up after the hotel. They pulled over so she could throw up after he shot the bank robbery went on, because the cop showed up just as soon as she walked in. The cop was like not following her.
And he ran in there. He ran in there to get her out.
Yeah, put him down, grabbed her, and they left.
Which so, I feel I contend.
Thank you, listeners, for catching me on that. I know you were screaming. I heard you screaming, Eric, you dumbass. That's not what.
I contend that earlier in the movie, earlier in their story, he would have just driven away if that had happened. But that by this point in the movie, he would not have. And by the end of the movie, he's dying for her. So I think that's the line for him, which I think that could be the thing. You'd be like, well, what's his character? It hasn't changed.
We also talked about that moment when she walks out after talking with her mom. And as soon as he sees her, he turns around. He just wants to go in there and kick someone's butt. I don't know that's the first time you see that from him. He never expressly says, Caroline, I will go to the end of there. Maybe he did, but there wasn't a big to-do about it. You just seen by his actions. And I think you're kind of right. Early on, he's gonna hose her at some point, but he never did. And then,
because her face is all over the place. Her face is on like all these security cameras. I mean, sure, she's got sunglasses and this wig on, but if anyone's going to get found, it's her. They don't know anything about the guy waiting out in the car. They know there's another person involved, but they don't know. It could be another woman. And who
actually
knows?
Do they?
I don't even know if they know that. Yeah. They probably figured it out because they probably figured out there has to be a getaway driver or something. Yeah. Either way, I think he's hanging her out to dry for at least the first third of the movie. And I think it'd be interesting to hear from the director or the writer if that's the progression they see in his character. But I feel like
they painted it like that's a very strong possibility that could happen. But then, as their relationship goes on, you start to see this. Oh no, he cares for her, and then to where it builds at the end, where it's he would die for her. In fact, here he's doing it right now.
Yep.
And then I wonder how much of that just got how much of his resolve got strengthened once he knew that she was pregnant.
It had to have an effect.
Because now he's not just saving someone that he loves, but he's saving someone that he loves as carrying his child.
Yep. Yeah, it has to have an effect for sure. I don't know. I think it's just such a good movie.
It's so like good. Bonnie and Clyde, but more romantic and probably
it really is
better thought out, I guess.
So good.
Except for the Roadhouse part. He totally would have got shot by the Patriots. Other than that.
Yeah. But if you didn't have the Roadhouse part, you wouldn't have, I think that's where they play the song F Up. I'm not going to say the whole word because Greg will have to do more editing. You know, did you notice that? That's that song F Up by, what's it? Sarah Snook. I'm going to take a look it up. Hang on. Sarah Snook and the Disarmers. Have you ever heard of that them before?
I mean, I've heard the song in the movie, obviously, but
Oh my gosh.
I can't think of what it was.
If you've never looked at that album that comes off of Sarah Snook and the Disarmers, that album is like the soundtrack to this movie almost, because it's just like that kind of character. They have another song called The Nail, and I think the chorus is something like, was it Who's the Nail and Who's the Coffin or something like that? It's just stuff like that. It's so good.
I will say, anyway, regarding the soundtrack, if you're a fan of the Urban Cowboy soundtrack, this is your cup of tea. Obviously the movie's good, but the soundtrack is freaking just banger after banger. I love the soundtrack in this.
It is so good. And it's like, it's country, but it's like country. It's not this kind of pop country. There's Lucinda Williams. There's all kinds of just fantastic stuff on there. So what about last spoiler piece, the very end. So she just tell us what happened at the very end. So, he's dead.
So, I forgot about this part. This was so good. So she gets a new ID, or if she gets her hair, changes her hair color, gets a new ID.
Goes back to the same guy that got the ID from before, so then she knows where to go.
And she actually looks a lot different. I think if you knew her and then she walked, the way that she just changed her appearance totally works. And then she goes to the airport to buy a ticket to, I can't remember where. You do, though, because you just got done watching it. But
was it Argentina?
Maybe. I can't remember.
I can't remember. Ecuador?
We'll just say Belize. That sounds good.
It was a place that her and her father had always talked about. It's like this fantasy place that they would run an escape to.
But anyway, she goes to get the airplane ticket.
Yeah.
And then they're like, then the lady at the airport's just a one way. And then you're like, oh, they found her out. And then you can see like she's freaking out. She's about to freak out and just kind of give it the go, so to speak. And then there's a moment where she hands the money to her and she takes the money and then starts giving her changes. Actually, I want one of the big bills. Could we? I'm like,
yeah, it's the way it's so pitch perfect. Yeah, the fact that the place out. First of all, like, she's gonna get caught, and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, all she had to do was buy a round ticket and just never use it, just use it one way, and they would have never even questioned it. But then she just weasels her way through it, and you're like, oh, she's safe. And then they have that final moment, like you said, where she sees a moment to do the short change scam. And she starts the short change scam, and that's the end right there.
Yeah.
And it's, oh my God, she could get caught for that, or she's just on her way.
I could actually see her getting caught for that, and I'm glad they cut it when they did,
because you don't know, you don't care.
I care. I don't want her to get caught.
You don't. You know what I mean? Like the point is, it doesn't let whether she gets caught at that moment or not. She's probably going to get caught someday, but it's like she's going to keep doing it. She's in. She's all the way in.
Yeah, that was such like a cute little way to. And like the weird thing is, if the movie doesn't work, that scene just becomes just eye-rollingly bad. But since the rest of the movie works, it made that ending, that last shot, just chef's kiss. You guys did it.
Yeah. You're all in on her character at that point anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing with scenes like that. You take that exact same scene in a lesser movie, like played out exactly the same way, with the exact same context, but the rest of the movie wasn't as good. That scene just comes off. That sucked. Yeah. But since they did the work leading up to that, it's thanks for that. Thanks for that movie. I enjoyed that.
I want to give you a hug, movie. Let's do this. Oh my God. So we love this movie. That's all we got to say. We love it. Yeah. Greg needs to watch it. If he hasn't already watched it, he needs to watch it yesterday. But he's going to probably listen to this whole spoiler thing, and then he's going to watch the movie. Yeah. But he better love it. If he doesn't, then we're going to have to fire him.
Yeah. And on top of that, just tell, like you listening right now, tell everyone about the movie. You saw it. You know it's great. So just tell everyone, say, I know it's called Carolina, but trust me, you're going to like it. It's a bank robbery movie, and it's kind of cool. And this would probably also go down like we talk about Bonnie and Clyde, but Natural Born Killers.
Mm-hmm. Badlands.
Yeah. Well, so Natural Born Killers specifically, because like as over the top as that movie is, I like the characters Mickey and Mallory.
Yeah.
the way they're dynamic and everything. They're obviously pieces of crap, but I still like the characters, and I like the characters together. This is kind of like that, but I like them a lot more because we're Mickey and Mallory are murderers. Like, technically, Kyle Gallner's character is a murderer, but they didn't do it because he's a deranged killer. They did it because they were rats backed into a corner, and what else are they going to do? And so you kind of give them a little grace as far as that. Now, in real life, probably not, but in the movie, certainly.
Now, last thing I want to say is I don't want a sequel to this movie. I think it's great just the way it is, except...
Where would you go with it?
No, I have an idea.
All right.
Except if you make a sequel, it's basically Paper Moon.
Did I see Paper Moon? I don't know if I saw Paper Moon.
Paper Moon, Ryan O'Neal, Tatum O'Neal. Tatum O'Neal's his little daughter. He goes around doing scams all over the roads in the 20s or 30s.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Watch Paper Moon. That could be the one angle. So it's 8 or 9 years later, and she's on the road with her daughter, and she's been teaching her scams, and they're doing their thing. Yeah. That could work. I mean, I don't want that. Believe me, I don't want that. But if you're going to do it, that's the one you do.
The problem is, though, that she took the money and ran. So why would you start doing scams with your daughter when the whole purpose of that was to escape everything? But
something went sideways, man. I'm telling you, something went sideways in the last few years.
This Belize place is a lot more expensive than we thought.
She's been drinking that bag of money. No, but if you've never seen it, watch Paper Moon. I mean, that's the big aside, but I was like, that's the only angle I could see that could possibly work. Like I said, I don't want that. Just make a new movie with awesome characters doing awesome things. Yeah. That's all we really need. But
this is a movie. If someone said that they were doing a sequel to it, I'd be like, why? Like,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, maybe you want to do maybe at some point you want to remake it, but even then again, why? The whole conceit of this is a trope, so just do another story like that and crush it like this movie did. There's no reason to remake it because the trope exists, so you can do that without a remake, and a sequel just wouldn't make sense because the story's done.
That's never stopped Hollywood before.
True.
All right.
They should make this with Samara Weaving and Kyle Gallner.
He'll be a ghost. And he'll be helping her.
But do an English language version of it. Oh wait, no, that's exactly this. So
no, the Australian version, because now she can have her natural accent, and she can be Australian, and he can do the Australian accent.
There you go.
And it'll be in the Mad Max universe. Why not?
Yeah,
I'd probably watch that, honestly.
But either way, yeah, the filmmakers behind this are Adam Ramier. I'll learn how to say that properly at some point, but. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're on the same page. Anything he makes is worth watching.
Yep, for sure.
He's making a movie called Dust Settles on the Willows.
That's about a cyborg that attacks you.
Title sucks, but I'm sure it's going to be awesome, so we'll watch it.
That killer cyborg movie called Dust Settles on the Willows is amazing.
But yeah, this was awesome. And I don't know. I don't have any other spoiler stuff unless you...
No, I think we're good. I think we've nailed it.
We figured it out. Figured the whole thing out. We got something wrong and figured it out during the spoiler. So...
if only we could do that all the time. Usually we just get it wrong and that's it. And then you help us out later.
Get wrong. I'm just going to drop the mic here. Bam. I don't care.
I'm so right.
But yeah, good times, great oldies.
Bye.